Good afternoon. How are you? Well, it's nice out today, and it's good to have Holly home. And so we're off battling other lions and tigers. I have some court matters going on, and I suppose the political season will heat up. It's the end of the month, the end of the quarter, so I suppose you're all getting lots of requests for funds. And you can be sure Trump is doing that. You got to wonder if he really got $7.1 million after he showed up for his mugshot in Georgia. The only source we have for it is Trump's group itself to say that he got $7.1 million. But they have to make filings, and then we'll see. We'll see what really happened. We are on the march. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard fought. But in the end, Trump's going to jail. And he should go to jail. And he should for several reasons. And it's part of the mugshot theory, that is, equal protection under the law. No man is above the law. And certainly no man who commits the crimes that Trump has. And then a couple of good bulletins today. Nervous Hands Navarro got a setback. And you may remember, particularly him on Ari's show, he's always talking with his hands, and he's moving them, and he's saying things with them. And it seemed to me, it really struck me as a man who's nervous, not sure of himself, overdoing it. But who knows, maybe he drinks too many coffees in a single day. So what did he lose? He was claiming, after all of the experience we've had, that he was told to invoke executive privilege. And there was a very fuzzy threshold set of facts that he couldn't get past, namely any communication from Trump that clearly said executive privilege. And if he had said it, I don't think, as a private citizen, it would have gone very far. So, anyhow, Navarro now, the good news is going to be tried for contempt. And who knows when this is all over, what else he may be tried for. He's one of these people who's talkative but says nothing, and even when he was asked by Ari Melber on the beat, so what you're talking about is a coup. No, it's not a coup. Yes, it is a coup. He doesn't even know what he's saying, what he's admitting to. Then in another category, we have Rudy Giuliani, and he's going down. You can see the squeeze on him, and the squeeze on him is in court and out of court. So, for example, he has a libel action against him for defaming two people who worked in the Georgia election, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. And you probably remember a pretty tearful performance by, well, both of them, but your heart goes out to them. And they're named in the trial in Georgia, where Rudy's also there. But this is not about that. This is about their libel action, that because of his false statements, which he's since admitted to, they were defamed and hurt terribly. And everybody assumed that they were involved in criminal conduct, which they were not. And Rudy has admitted that in statements, and the court is finding for the ladies because, and in part, large part, he hasn't produced documents that he has. And the judge, Beryl Howell, who at one time was the counsel to the Senate Judiciary Committee, a fabulous lawyer, and she went on the bench, and she was the chief judge for a period of time, and she has the case, and she said that it seemed possible to her that Rudy would rather conceal and withhold these documents than how they could be used to hurt him, not just in this proceeding, but in others. So we won't know about that. Then as for Trump, there are a couple of obvious things that sort of catch him up short. So, for example, the prosecutor in Georgia, she wants to have the trial October 23rd in response to those who are insisting they want a speedy trial. Okay? And why should she divide it? Everybody gets a speedy trial. How can you be against a speedy trial? And the answer is, and there's a lot of truth in this, and this is for the defense side, that the government's been packing snowballs for 2 years and now hurling them. And the defense is kind of flat-footed as compared to that. Now, some are sort of beating their chest thinking they can figure out any case in short order. But it's not so simple. You have to get this stuff inside of you. It has to become part of you, the facts do. And if you don't have it part of you, you can't argue it, you can't write about it, you can't present it to a jury. And so there's a catch-22 here. So, they say justice delayed is justice denied. For the defendant, usually the rule of thumb is justice delayed is justice, because the defense gets a chance to figure out what they're going to say. Now, this is not your ordinary group. These people have also been crawling around these facts, and they've moved like a team or gang from the beginning till now. Even how they arrange their lawyers, how they arrange their arguments, how they arrange their motions. So they're in a different place, and maybe they figure they have it together, they know all the stories, and they want to go full-blown. Now, Ms. Powell, at one point, she was considered an outstanding lawyer. She was responsible for routing out, if I remember it was Alaska, misconduct by prosecutors. So, and I met her. I was more active in a group called the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, and she made a good presentation, but she lost her way, like a lot of these people did. Like I said the other day, there's like a black hole, and they get sucked into it, and they're rent apart, torn apart, and it's a combination of the black hole is, in political terms, ambition, power, money, access, and apparently they'll do anything to get it, and they'll do anything to keep it, and that's to the detriment of their own well-being, civilly, psychologically, and every other way. Finally, you have to mention Hurricane Idalia, and the thing about this hurricane is what we've done for so many years that has made this possible to be more destructive and harmful than it might otherwise be. And one of the reasons, it's not the only one, but one of the reasons is there's such a warming of the water. You saw there's a story some time ago about people who could be taking a hot bath in the waters. Well, the heating up of those waters in that area means that there's no resistance to the wind. The wind moves faster along it. The waters move out of the clouds above and the sky above because it's held longer there. And so you can get these tremendous amounts of rain and air. And you heard the governor of Hawaii talk about, hurricane fires. So that's a real problem. And where does it come from? Well, it comes from global warming. And if you're not going to redress those problems, you're going to have worse and worse atmospheric conditions. Now, there are two things ironic about, and maybe more, but in this category, DeSantis, the governor of Florida, here he is asking the government for money when he decries the help of the government for the states. These guys are all hypocrites. They don't even have a consistent ideology or theory of government. What they have is whatever works for the day, or the days, the week, that's what they'll say, that's what they'll do. And the second thing is him talking about how we're going to make things better for the people with federal money, and there is state money too as well. When he is as close as possible to Vivek, who calls global warming a hoax. I don't know what evidence is necessary for these people. Melting polar caps, rising ocean water, warming water, dead fishes, it goes on and on. Huge fires, rainstorms, movement of insects and birds, the loss of wildlife. Somewhere along the line you would think somebody would tweak onto these things. And you have to think, with his registered IQ, he knows better, which makes even more evil what he's doing by downgrading the concerns we should have about global warming. So, in short, what do I see? I see us moving in the right direction. I see the enemies of the state, the traitors, the common criminals, the gang members of the Trump declining empire, jittery, desperate, anxious to avoid prison, all of a sudden concerned that maybe Trump won't get to the White House to pardon them. And we know how wary he is to pardon anyone, how disloyal he is to anyone. So we're moving. We'll probably never move quickly enough, but we are moving in the right direction, which is to suffocate this cancer within our government and our people and our political construct, so that we can restore the democracy that we've fought so hard to perfect, not always well, and to save and protect the republic that, in theory at least, allows us to argue without fear of getting beaten up in a public proceeding as if it was as secretive as an alleyway. And I think we're moving in the right direction. There's a feeling I have about the judges who are in the mix, not that worthless judge down in Florida perhaps, but others. And I think we're going to take these people down, and some of it's going to be messy because people have a Perry Mason view of how these things work, and they don't work that way at all. The conversation is messy, the examinations are messy, the exhibits have to be carefully handled, and the rules of evidence are the best guide we have to assure ourselves that we have some reliability in a situation that is hardly laboratory conditions. So, that's what I have to say this day out here on the avenue of trees, and as we move into the nave of my cathedral of trees, I wish you goodbye. Talk to you tomorrow probably. Bye-bye.